She made history and she's gonna teach me how to walk. Let's meet Chantel O'Brian. No crowns, no sashes today, but we are in the presence of a queen. Welcome to the show, Chantel. Thank you so much for being on Personal Space.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
I am excited to do this interview. So after you came back from Miss Universe and I saw all my news colleagues getting their interviews, like that was the one time I missed being in news. But you know, here we are still. I still get my interview a little late, but better late than never.
Better late than never, yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Like you have made history for the Bahamas by becoming the first Bahamian to place top 10, the coveted top 10 in Miss Universe.
The Bahamas!
Like, just what? Let me just back it up a little bit. Not only did you do that, you did that in a pixie cut, okay? And I'm like, for me, that was like a double win, 10s across the board. Just give it a crown now, because she did it in a pixie. What was that moment like for you?
It meant a lot. It was exciting. I think it was probably one of the most peaceful times of my life. And I think that's where purpose kind of leads you a little bit. But it was just a really kind of mind-blowing thing. And it's one of those moments you just, if I could just do that again, just one more time.
It was that good?
It was that good, yeah. It really, it's impacted all of the years prior leading up to that moment. In my journey in pageantry, and then it's just made like a staple of, you know, knowing that I can set even higher goals and standards for myself and reach for them. So it's been great.
And we've had Bahamians in that competition for decades, and you were the one to break that glass ceiling. I mean, you come back home. What was life like getting back to normal, if you ever did?
Yeah, no, yeah, for decades, but even especially knowing that those were the women that really inspired it all. Because I mean, I used to watch Miss Bahamas on TV all the time, and so to see those women go on and do beautiful things and say, you know what, I could do that too, that was already the first step. And so they really set the tone for me. I guess they set it up. You know, it's kind of like when women build each other, they set it up. So that's been exciting to even continue to like reflect on. It was hectic. It's still hectic. It's been one of those things where you have to take it easy. You have to take each day one step at a time. But it's also been like my own kind of like self-pressures, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
It's like you always want to top what you did, not for other people, but just to know that, you know, you constantly are pushing the bar for yourself and you're not remaining complacent. So it's been hectic. It's had its adventures, and each day is unpredictable for me, really.
Yeah. So you talked about watching Miss Universe, from back when. Talk about your journey through pageantry, how you got into it and what made you fall in love with it.
How did I get it? I didn't have the first clue. First of all, going into pageantry, I hadn't had any real major experience. I had done a top model competition prior, and so I was like, okay, you know what, maybe I can do this. And it was really built on the fact that I had my platform, which is youth development. It still is. And growing up in Anglerston, I didn't really have any woman in that community at the time that I felt I could look up to, who I could really follow and I guess you'd say emulate. And so for me, I wanted to be that person. I wanted to say, you know what, you can do something like this, especially being of Haitian heritage as well. I think that was really important to know, like, you know, in a society that gives you opportunity, you have to take it and you have to try your best to capitalize on it. So that's what really got me started. And then, you know, I lost a couple times, right? You know, I lost a couple times. That's life. You know, I didn't win. I didn't win it on the first go. Actually, my first pageant was for the Universe title. That was my very first pageant. I was 19 years old at the time, and I placed first runner-up that year, which was already like a big deal for me. I loved it. It was like the most exciting time for me. And then when I decided to go into the system again, which was for the world system, I placed second runner-up, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna try this system again, because for me, I was like, okay, maybe the world system is the best system for me. And that's one of the things in pageantry. Some people don't choose a system that best fits them, but then sometimes you might luck out and be good at both, which is
which you were.
Yeah. So I went to Miss World Bahamas that following year in 2015 and won. And so that was really me saying, okay, good, we've done it. Let's hang it up. which is what I did.
So you hadn't planned on getting back into pageantry after that?
No, not at all. Not at all. And
So you'd have robbed us of this great moment if you had stuck to your guns and not gotten back.
Yes, I did not. I had no plans on coming back to compete. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I even got into coaching was they would ask me, hey, can you help me? Can you do this? And I was like, you know what? Maybe this is what I'm meant to be doing instead. And so in 2018, I started to start professionally coaching and everything. And then in 2021, it was like, wait, God was like, I think you should go do that again. And I was like, but we did that like 5 years ago. Like, let's just hang it up. And he was like, no, you really have to do it. And so when you have something that's like, you know, in your heart and that's like really pushing you, just do it and you see what happens. And that can happen, you know, with obedience.
I love how you talked about growing up in Angleton, because I grew up in Angleton as well. I grew up in Wilton Tract. I grew up, yes. And so people feel like nothing good comes out of the ghetto, right? But we have so many success stories, from politics to medical to now pageantry and media. Okay.
You know, with young women, it's a different thing when you may grow up in a community that may not essentially push you toward holding on to your integrity, holding on to your dignity, really carrying yourself in a way that you would be proud of 10, 15 years later down the line. And so that's been a great thing for me, to be able to collaborate with different organizations that also share the same ideals and principles that I have, whether that's Virtuous Organization or Princess Court Ministries. Like, these are the people that they're doing the work, actively doing the work. And it meant a lot to me, because actually when I went to Miss Universe, a lot of them, you know, I let them know, hey, I'm leaving, and a lot of them came out and they showed up to send me off. And then coming back, it was just even more overwhelming, not just because of, you know, obviously the attention, to see them again when I was coming back, for them to just have that example that, wait, you did that with short hair.
Yep.
After all this time, I could do it too. You know what I mean?
So what does after pageant is done, what does a top 10 Miss Universe contestant do in her everyday life? Like, what does a day look like for you?
It's very boring for me, personally. It's boring for me. I'm a homebody. A lot of people don't see me out. So when they do see me out, it's like, hey, I was like, hi. I go to a lot of pageants, being a pageant coach. I've had the opportunity to judge different pageant systems in the US and travel and coach and do master classes. I'm currently for a master class tour in a few different cities in the US. And it's really important to me, because a lot of times, you know, obviously we're not a pageant culture centered country, and that's okay.
Even after we just had someone place top 10.
You just have to roll the pebbles, you know, because even change is it takes patience. And so even though that happened, and it might not have been like this whole big, you know, domino effect, it's going to happen. You know, we're going to get into it slowly but surely. But for me, it was just knowing that even on my free time, I'm still looking for ways to develop myself. But after my reign last year, I experienced really bad burnout.
I'd imagine.
Even after the reign was done, I still had an enrichment camp happening, and then afterwards I had a back to school event going on. And so by the time I was done with it, I was like, done with. And exhaustion can kind of confuse you with depletion. Like, you feel like, that's it, I don't have anything else to offer anybody else.
Love that.
And so for me, on my downtime, I just take that opportunity to, if I'm not reading, I'm binging some show on Netflix.
What are you watching right now?
What am I watching right now? I'm not watching anything like that deep. I'm not gonna lie. I'm watching like All American, you know, those, you know, things that are.
Netflix so dry right now, I will lie.
We have a lot happening right now, but I'm a big fan of watching these different things, especially because I do have aspirations of being this big time actress. We're working on it so slowly but surely. Catching that maybe next 10 years.
Okay.
Who knows? God's so funny. Be like, yeah, do another 10 years to get this. I don't know.
And from pageantry to acting, I love it.
Yeah. So in my downtime, I'm watching something, or I try to do some sort of self-care, whether that's, you know, getting a facial, you know, Perfect Tone is my plug, or if I'm like, you know, going to get like some massage, or just spending time with my friends. My friends are like my real safe space.
Yeah.
My mom is my downtime as well. She keeps me grounded, and so those are the things that I like to do outside of just like going.
Yeah. So Chantel, I wore my good shoes for you today because I'm gonna need a little bit of that silk walk tutorial. My family used to put me in pageants when I was in kindergarten, and I never won, and they used to want to fight. So this is for y'all who I always wanted to see me on a runway. Let's do this. I'm gonna get a one-on-one with Chantel O'Brian. I'm gonna learn how to walk, y'all. So teach me how to walk.
You already know how to walk, but we gonna spice it up a little bit.
Yes.
Right. So what you're gonna do, because which foot do you use?
I am left-handed, so dominant on the left.
Alrighty, so we're gonna be lefties today. I'm a lefty.
Ooh.
And so when you start your walk, you wanna be able to have your posture up and back, so shoulders are back. You always know that your posture is good once you feel like a little arch. When you put your hand behind there, like, oh, okay, good arch means a good posture.
Okay.
And so when you start to move forward, you wanna lean back. You want your feet to get to where you're going before you.
Ah.
So don't attempt to stomp. Just attempt to kind of like glide.
Okay.
Okay. And so as you're moving, our 3 words will be what? What are we thinking in our head?
Naomi Campbell, sex appeal,
Sex appeal.
and grace.
Grace. Okay. So as you're moving forward, shoulders right to left, and it mimics your hips.
Okay.
Okay.
And my feet reach before my shoulders too? That's what you said?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
But we're crossing them, so you want them to go left, right, left. Ah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. And always pace is grace.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this next to you though, because like this, this is gonna be real lopsided.
Pacing grace, okay?
Yes.
You don't rush. You know, on a daily basis, we don't rush into the room. We
Okay.
gotta take our
Yes.
time, right? Because we are the moment.
Okay.
So pacing grace as you walk up. So don't rush it.
I changed my mind. You could stay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
Yes. Period. For me.
Mindset, really. This is a quick breakdown. It's all about mindset. I mean, however the room is, you can either be intimidated by it or you can influence it. And it's easy to get scared and kind of, you know,
Yeah.
yourself to. And you know what? Sometimes I do that. Sometimes if I'm like in unfamiliar territory, I have this urge to just run to be like, okay, wait, I may
Yeah.
not fit in here. And that's when you have to like break past that and be like, no, wait. Y'all gonna watch me walk.
Yes. I'm
And
gonna
I'm
take
gonna
my
look y'all in your
time.
eyes. We ain't gonna talk though, but I'm gonna look at you.
And you will see me.
And you own the room. And that's how you're not intimidated by what's happening because you're aware about it.
I love that because that allows a woman to enter rooms, like you say, where she may be intimidated and just own it. That's the boardroom. That's to negotiate her pay raise. That's to in the courtroom. That's anywhere. So I love the fact that your pageantry coaching also could be life coaching for someone who needs it.
Absolutely. It's not a one size. It's not like this one size for this one person. It's one of those things where the way a woman walks is universal, right? It says a lot about her. So you don't have to be a model or a pageant queen or whatever. You are a woman who you're commanding respect, you're commanding attention. You should have a confident walk. Like when you walk in, we should identify that, okay, she come in here to shake it up.
Yes.
She did not come in here to just sit at the back.
You know what? I feel like I already do that. It may not be with the with the shoulders and all that, but I'm like, I reach.
You know, a little you know what I mean? And so sometimes some people need that little push forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes people naturally have it like you.
Ah, thank you. Well, child, I just had my one-on-one masterclass with Miss Chantel O'Brian. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to meet you, speak with you, finally get my interview, even though I ain't in news no more, but I got it anyway. Thank you so much for being on Personal Space.
Thank you so
All
much
right.
for having me.
Thank you.